this.
No, I can tell them apart to some extent, but like it's for some reason he does like this repetitive like design. He does like repetitive like generic designs for his characters sometimes.
They're fucking office workers. They're all dressed the same.
Yeah, but like look at Jujutsu Kaisen's characters. You can sort of
but they're like
able to tell.
But they're more like generic, like fucking. You know, I'm anime. Like I'm gonna be shitting on Jujutsu Kaisen a lot. And just for the record, I don't think it's a bad series. I think it's a perfectly fine series. It's entertaining. I'm following it along. I think it's very nice, but I think it's a lot more basic bitch than you know the mad genius we've gotten in fucking Chainsaw Man. You gotta love to be gone back yet. All right, we are live. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, welcome to the Rambling Ranting Review Hour. Woo! So we are here to talk about the epic finale of our beloved boy in the time it took whatchamacallit, Hunter x Hunter to be on hiatus. We saw a masterpiece come light up and briefly exit this world. I am, of course, talking about the end of Chainsaw Man. So we've got a lot of ground to cover in this discussion, because I believe the last time we were, I dragged you guys over here to talk about Chainsaw Man, it was in the middle of the Gun Devil arc. Hadn't quite reached its climax.
It was.
So, if you had to give one word, how would you describe your feelings about the final chapter of Chainsaw Man before we go back and hash out all the stuff?
Hug.
I had something else, but I'm gonna have to go with hug.
I was gonna say very supremely wholesome. It was surprisingly wholesome. I was very charmed. I was very charmed. Keep on running. You have a thought, Zevel?
Yeah, there wasn't the like absolute violent bloodbath I have come to expect out of his shit, and instead it was just like, I ate an entire human being, but now
and it's a really delicious meal.
Yeah, that was funny. How like it opens up with the color spread of like all the various forms he used to cook Makima to like just add variety to his cannibalism, and then it ends with hugs.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a question here with how. Okay, when he ate, is Makima is the control devil, or is she like patroned with the control devil?
As far as we know, she's the control devil.
She is the control devil. Okay. So essentially, she's not really human then. She's just whatchamacallit? She's a devil. And then the kid that was reincarnated as Makima was like her old human self, I guess, just not the control devil.
Well,
I guess my question is, normally when the chainsaw devil eats somebody, they just kind of forget, the world forgets that person existed or that concept existed. So right. I guess Denji ate Makima, not Puchita.
That's what it looks like.
That was a little bit confusing.
It did not count as a Chainsaw Man eating because she still existed and resurrected in the human world. Although I was pointing this out to Zavel, there's a really cute little Fujimoto had this one shot where basically Captain Crunch, you gonna be quiet now? Am I gonna have to dump you in water?
The only way you're going to shut that bird up is to kill it.
I could still think Oh, right. Even with the bird squeaking.
Well, how destroy? Because like I'm thinking about posterity's sake. I've been very lazy about uploading these as podcasts, but I'm gonna do it, man. It's a happening thing. It's already happened. It's just these files are so goddamn big. It's just a pain in the ass. They take forever to export them. It's miserable. I hate it, and I hate editing them, and it always slows down my computer. It's awful. But like I'm thinking, like, is that going to be annoying to listen to for the people in the podcast form? I don't know. Is it annoying? All right, Captain Crunch, that's it. That's it. You're getting washed. You're getting washed, and you're getting put in your thing. I'm sorry, Captain.
Oh my god.
This is what we have to do.
Okay, so I guess while Isaac waterbirds his parrot,
Waterboards. Waterbirds or waterboards?
waterboards,
Oh god.
we should probably tell PETA this is happening, and then record the resulting insanity.
And meanwhile, like his lights like light up start a fire. Just like I said they would.
We just watch Isaac's entire life collapse around him because of this fucking bird. Just like I always told them it fucking would.
All right,
Yeah.
the bird's washed.
All right.
The bird is washed and placed away for the time being.
Man, it took you like surprisingly little time to waterbird that little animal.
I'm very efficient when I have to waterbird if I have to, wash the bird. We have a system where we're very fast. Just put him under the sink and he's good to go.
Okay, so where were we? Denji ate Makima, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of confusing things that happen in these last few chapters. Like I guess the like the bomb devil, like all the sword devil, all those other devils that Makima employed, she never really killed them initially, right? She just incapacitated them, and then she brought them under her service for this particular moment to get Chainsaw Man.
Well, that's the sort of thing that we've learned is that the hybrid weapon devil people are really, really hard to kill. So you can like thrash them up, but as long as you give them blood, they'll be fine. Because we saw Quan Chi get decapitated by the Darkness Devil, and then she had one of her members of her thruple pull out her dagger from her eye, and that was enough to revive her. And then she gets decapitated again by Makima, and assumingly she went into Makima's sex dungeon for storage and just kind of stayed there until she was ready to be redeployed as a part of Makima's simp squad.
Yes, it's the Makima Sim Squad. I like that name for it.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, we could still use it. That term hasn't been completely co-opted by the alt-right. I assume it's going to get there at some point, but like, still you can like use it without any sort of like political affiliation.
Just add that to the fucking list of bullshit that we will probably eventually not be able to say.
It's not quite there on the cucked yet, but like it's got a few notches where you can say it without being like put in the alt-right list.
I don't like the idea like alt-right can own certain words. Like I feel like there's words that I like that I still would like to use regardless. But
that's the culture. I'm sorry, I can't like say who gets what words. If it makes you feel better, liberals have claimed y'all as like kind of their thing. So you got that one.
I was using y'all like way earlier than I feel like it was used.
Y'all are far enough south to use that shit.
Yeah, but it's like there's different intonations of y'all. There's like the y'all from the South. Then there's the like kind of like I'm appropriating black culture, but not all the way. So I'm saying y'all better get on this Biden train or whatever.
Okay.
It's like not a great use of it, but like you see it all the time on Twitter.
Okay, all right.
So you got that. That's yours.
Y'all, in my respect, it's like a gender neutral way to address like everybody. Like instead of saying like guys, ladies or whatever, you just say y'all. Hey y'all.
Yeah, that's true. It works.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got on a wonderful tangent about the Simp Squad, but going back, so let's get to your confusion. What confused you about the great epic finale of Chainsaw Man?
Oh,
I would like to know how he managed to kill and eat Makima.
okay. I think I can figure this out. So Makima was only interested in the chainsaw version of Denji, right? Chainsaw Man version of Denji.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only version of Denji that she saw, and somehow Denji separated the chainsaw version of himself from his actual true self.
Yes,
by ripping out his heart with Pochita in it or something.
So he was able to separate himself and live without Pochita as his heart, and then Pochita formed the chainsaw body, which Makima fought against.
Right. And so then Denji took advantage of that. Like, it was a crazy ass plan to begin with, but like kind of amazing that, he had the balls to try and pull something off like that. And he just snuck up on her and just with an actual chainsaw. Well, actually, it's probably a chainsaw made out of Power's blood or something.
It was a Power themed chainsaw. It had the little power horns. I assume people will, walk around with it at cons when we can go back to cons.
Yeah. And and then Denji like tears her up with that chainsaw, and somehow like that finishes her off. I don't know how or why, but it just did. It just catches her off guard, and she can't use her, her reanimation thing again for some reason.
Well,
I didn't understand.
The logic was that like, and maybe it would have been illustrated if we had like a little panel that because he used the little Power chainsaw and it had Power's blood. Makima,
oh right, it infected her.
Yeah, so
Power's blood.
Assumingly there are like thousands of little Powers screaming around, "I'm the first president!" Yeah! Just like continually wounding her again and again, so he was able to chop her up and little by little eat her.
Oh, so because Power's blood was mixed with Denji's blood, essentially both Denji and Power like put themselves into Makima and essentially all became like one in a sense. Maybe.
I was thinking it more like Power was inside Makima, fucking shit up. That allowed Denji to carve her up, put her into little containers, and slowly eat her in a variety of tasty treats.
And then eventually, I guess, put his heart back in or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to. Yeah, what happens to Chainsaw Man? The Chainsaw Man version of Denji. Does
he's still there. He put the heart back in after like Makima rips it out.
Right.
Yeah, he like literally he gets his attack on her. And then, whatchamacallit, and then in the final chapter, they talk a little bit about, like, Makima never respected him, so that's how he was able to sneak up on her. Because she didn't give a shit about his smell. But yeah, remember, he puts the heart back in, and then he, I don't know how...
And then he chainsaws her down.
Yeah. So, any other confusion?
Yeah, so then if he did have the heart of Pochita in him, for Chainsaw Man, and then he ate Makima, she would be forgotten, right?
Well, if Chainsaw Man ate her, but then she'd be forgotten, and then the Chainsaw Man universe would be an anarcho-capitalist, communist utopia,
magical utopia. Yeah.
Yes, it would be the Chaz that all the lefty YouTubers and streamers dream about.
Wait. So she wanted to be eaten by Chainsaw Man? That was her goal.
That was her goal. She liked Chainsaw Man enough that
she really had a vor fetish. Seriously, a vor fetish.
So. Yeah, wow. So, okay, this is her whole plan all along, to be eaten by Chainsaw Man?
Yes.
Well, no, she had two goals. Her one control goal was to like either gain control of Chainsaw Man and then use him to eat devils and make the world a better place, ostensibly. But if she didn't do that, if she got eaten, lost in her epic clash with Chainsaw Man, then she would basically give up and get eaten. And she, I'm fine with that too because I'm a fan of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, it's basically win-win here. Either she manages to make the world a better place, or she finally gets off the way she's always hoped and dreamed of by having Chainsaw Man eat her.
Man, sometimes, like, I feel like a lot of these, like, motivations for these characters and, like, all this stuff, it's, like, really hard for the author to keep up with the continuity of, like, everything that he's put forward so far. Is like he's very like free in terms of like changing things up in the story for the sake of an impact. Like, do you guys know what I'm trying to say here?
Kind of. I kind of get a sense of what you're saying, and there was definitely more of that in Fire Punch. But at the same time, I think he's like a lot more consistent in Chainsaw Man because sure, there are like lots of swerves, and maybe we should like rewind a little bit because so what did you guys think of like the end of the Gun Devil arc where whatchamacallit, did we discuss the end of it, or because I thought we were in the middle of it, where ultimately Denji has to kill Aki?
I need to actually go back and look at that, but
the snowball fight.
Yeah, the snowball fight.
It was a nice metaphor. I like the snowball fight.
And Zabul, did you have any thoughts about the culmination of the Gun Devil fight?
I mean, I mostly had an important question about the end of the series that hopefully will be answered in the sequel.
What's your important question about the end of the series?
I need to know what happened to Kobeni's car. I mean, I was secretly hoping that the entire series would be wrapped up when Kobeni just like drove up and sideswiped Maki in her little fucking compact car.
I'm surprised that we didn't get like a climax or like some sort of shout out to Kobeni's car in like the final chapter, just like you seeing it in the side panel, which I thought would have been hilarious. But like, I guess we'll have to wait for the sequel to see the return of Kobeni's car, given how well it did in the character popularity poll. People in the chat are even saying, "What about the car?" Kobeni's car did never get just retribution. But at the same time, like, so we had the bittersweet ending of the Gun Devil arc where Aki is like kind of put to rest and it completely destroys Denji. And then like you get like like some of my favorite stuff, which is Denji just dealing with the fallout of killing Aki, feeling miserable even though he's got this like semi-decent life with power. And then of course Makima going from like waifu anti-hero to full-on antichrist, where she kills Power and then proceeds to tell Denji that I arranged all this just so I could remove your contract and make you miserable forever, and you can never be happy.
So, eat me.
Yeah.
Not figuratively. I mean, literally, just like put me in your mouth, digest me sexually.
So this is another thing I'm wondering about, why Makima did this. Like, if they kept on the arrangement that they had, like, couldn't they essentially still accomplish her goal of, wiping out all the devils?
Well, wait, what do you mean?
Why did Makima have to take away all of Denji's, friends? And
because that was the point, is that, like, his contract with Puchita is, I want to see your dreams, I want to see you have a happy life, And Makima says, you know, if you don't have a happy life and you can never be happy, then the contract is null, and then I can get Chainsaw Man back.
But technically, Chainsaw Man was her boss. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Chainsaw Man. No, sorry, the other way around. She was Chainsaw Man's boss, Denji's boss.
But well, remember,
there is a very important distinction between Denji and the Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
Denji is a human. He's his own person. He does his own shit. He just happens to have a contract. He happens to be a hybrid devil.
Mm-hmm.
She isn't interested in him. She's interested in the devil that he bound himself with. She's interested in Puchita. So she isn't so much interested in, like, I'm going to accomplish my goals with using Denji so much as I am interested in, infatuated with, in fact, Chainsaw Man. I want
and using Denji.
back.
You're using Denji to get to Chainsaw Man.
Right. I want him back.
Right.
And the only way to get him back is to break the contract he has with Denji.
I see. Ooh, wow. It's like almost like a little love triangle within himself.
Well, I mean,
in a weird way, right?
Yeah. There is that scene where she's like, you know, Chainsaw Man is chaotic and destroys everything. Chainsaw Man does this. You're not Chainsaw Man. You're not befitting to become Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, it's like Denji wants to fuck Makima. Makima wants to fuck the pupper.
I mean, she does have a thing for dogs, so it comes like. Almost full circle.
Yeah, I did just realize that, like, she keeps dogs, like tons of dogs, and Chainsaw Man's like chibi
Puchita
mascot form is
practically a little puppy dog.
This adorable little like critter, which also I have to say, Isaac, you're right. It's so fucking wholesome. It's like, you know what my dream was? I just wanted to be hugged, but it was really hard because I was a violent murder machine. It's basically like the anime incarnation of every fucking meme you see with the Doomslayer and Isabelle from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that was pretty much sums up their relationship.
I just wanted a hug. Meanwhile, burger.
Hamburgers.
I can see why you might have an issue getting a hug like that.
There you go. I think the Vamburger experience wasn't just like the greatest gag chapter of all. It explained why things are so hard for Chainsaw Man to be loved.
Oh, someone brought up a good point in chat. Makima wanted someone equal to her, and she saw Chainsaw Man potentially as her equal. So, but still, like, on top of that, that explanation, it doesn't quite add up to, like, all of her previous actions.
Well,
does it?
How so? I mean, you could go reread it, but, you know, she was always kind of, like, very ambiguous and mysterious, and we kind of don't get her motivation until the very end. So, you know, before, you didn't quite really know what was driving her. And
okay, so she wanted to sabotage the contract with Denji and Chainsaw Man so she can have Chainsaw Man to herself, but she was also okay with Chainsaw Man eating her.
So what is confusing to you? Because, like, well, what's interesting to me here is that, like, you were very supportive of Fire Punch
Up until a point.
Up to a point. Well,
Yes.
I like despised Fire Punch, and to a certain degree, you could like see some of it here on average. That like, Chainsaw Man has a lot of the dramatic changes, but they're just much better paced than they were. They feel much more natural than they were in Fire Punch versus Fire Punch was like, it was like, and then blah blah blah, and another thing that kind of pulls it all together is like the really strong character writing. And, if there's one, and I guess when I think about the totality of Chainsaw Man, my only regret is that, like, I wish there were, like, more, slice of life hanging out scenes, just because the ones we got were so fucking good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But, what was I going to say?
That was really a good strength for Chainsaw Man as a whole. Like, the slice of life stuff, if anything, like the weird like plot developments kind of get distracting because like in a sense, like do you remember when Bomb Lady was like it wasn't revealed yet that it was like Bomb Lady, and then there was another guy who had been taken over by a devil who was going to assassinate Denji, and she like silently killed him.
Yeah, I don't know why that's an issue. That to me is like a really good example of Fujimoto's pacing, because the idea is that like, okay, so we have the scene, it's set up with the bomb girl. You can still hear us, Seville. You're still connected?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, it starts out. He meets this cute girl. Then this evil guy comes and he's gonna like get Chainsaw Man's heart, and he's gonna go torture the girl. And he's like, I do this all the time. Even the toughest devil hunters, fall apart when you rip apart the face of people you love one. So either, you kind of knew that she was either gonna become super badass and you weren't gonna expect it, or he was gonna capture her. And then so Fujimoto did the super badass part. But it turns out she's a Russian sleeper agent. So then it's just like a series of escalations as we're given more information until the eventual bomb reveal. And then each sort of escalation kind of like is foreshadowed or goes in a direction that kind of feels natural. Until it leads to like one of my favorite chapters where it's the bittersweet, her being murdered by Makima.
At the time, like that was like a pretty cool part. And yeah, I agree with you. The escalation in that particular story arc was great, but I feel like there should have been a little bit more like was exposition about why was she a Russian sleeper agent? What do the Russians have planned for Denji? Like, we need a little bit more.
I'll give you this. Chainsaw Man's world building is very light, but usually what he does is he gives you enough to go along. So, like, for an example, my defense against that is that, like, towards the end of the arc, Kishibe says, there's, there's this secret Russian thing that is underground, and they train devil children to be child soldiers, and it's horrible and it's bad, and Rez is proof that this thing exists. So that tells us
that's her name, Rez.
That's sort of the exposition that tells her why she's a Russian agent, where she came from, and then we get the really sad revelation where she says, I never got to go to school either, Denji. I wish I could have gone to school with you. And later on in the international,
we kind of get a little. We get a little more context later when we find out that Makima is involved in political intrigue a little bit, and that all of the world governments, including the United States, is involved at least in some level with devil hunting or recruiting what they think would be useful devils as allies. Or even just trying to steal from other countries. So basically, it's just like oh, this is basically just comic book espionage. Cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the things I would say is that like there are a lot of interesting plot threads that like I wish we could have seen, but you know, it falls into the thing. You know, I like this series. You know, I want more of it, but at the same time, it was answered enough to like feel satisfied. Because I mean, I would have liked.
I guess.
I mean, I would have loved a story arc, and maybe we'll get it in Chainsaw Man 2, of how Chainsaw Man became Pochita. I was always kind of hoping we would get that.
Yeah. I mean, that is the one thing I will say is I don't feel like we needed tons and tons of exposition, but I would have liked... I feel like this series could have gone on another, I don't know, we at 90? I feel like it could have gone on another 100 chapters or so without me getting, you know, antsy and bored with it.
Yeah.
Just because of how well he does slice of life stuff. So I feel like we could have gotten a little more character development, a little more of the slice of life stuff. And I would have enjoyed that. I genuinely would have enjoyed and been happy with that. We could have gotten a little more about the world before it ended. I honestly assumed that Chainsaw Man would have been at least a 200 chapter comic or something.
Well, it's interesting. I thought you were thinking it was going to be 150 or something, because we were talking about like what's the ideal length for Chainsaw Man. Because I was like, you know, towards the end of there, it's like, oh man, this is going to end. I don't want it to end. Ah.
Yeah, you're right. About 150 would have been good. And what do we got? Like 97, 98 chapters. Yeah, 97 chapters. So I'm a little disappointed that it ended so quickly. But again, it's getting a sequel, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. And what were your I don't think I ever got, like, what was your general consensus of, like, the final arc of, like, with the Makima versus the Chainsaw Control Devil versus the Chainsaw Devil in the final arc? Like, what would you rate it if you had to give a rating of just that arc?
I'd give it an 8. Again, it felt rushed, and I'm a little disappointed by that. The Gun Devil stuff was some of the best. I fucking loved the Gun Devil section of the manga. This felt a little bit rushed, and I kind of felt it suffered a little bit for that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess I could sort of agree with that, because like there were like several points where I was kind of like, man, you could extend it. I want to see several chapters of like Kobeni and Kishibe and Denji, like, you know, on the lam, you know, hiding in the underworld as they try and like run away from Makima, versus like, you know, going right to the final battle in the graveyard.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We're highlighting like a lot of the weaknesses of Chainsaw Man, and then there's obviously the pluses with like the character building. I think also the comedy is really great too.
Oh god, the comedy is like so much better than I still think the hamburger chapter is like an all-time great thing.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
just that fucking like random shock value like hamburger gag thing was very fucking awesome. I'd say, like, you know, just on that stuff alone, like this has drawn me like considerably to Chainsaw Man. I think it focuses a lot more on its comedy, which is like one of its strengths, than it does with like than he has done with like, say, Fire Punch, for instance.
Well, that's what I really love about Fujimoto. I think is, you know, skyrocketed him into like one of my top, you know, manga creators, is that he like, not only is he good at like mixing tone, he's really good at like just doing the best thing. Like the wholesome moment was super wholesome, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. The whatchamacallit, the comedy gags are fucking gold. You know, obviously the gore is like fun and intense, but it always, each part always feels like a kind of best in class example within its, you know, respective field.
Yeah, I mean, normally I would be really pissed if they just like dipped out in the middle of a fight to go get a hamburger and play DDR in any other fucking manga, and this was just like, I don't give a fuck. This is amazing.
Kobeni in that DDR thing, that was like so awesome, awesomely hilarious. And she's like, oh, I've never danced before, and then like the next couple panels, you see her like in breakdance poses. It's so funny. I love that part.
It was like kind of, yeah, it was, well, because we've seen that she's like, has super physical agility when she feels like it. So, oh, she's actually breakdancing, but she looks miserable and like, oh, I'm kind of having fun, but I'm terrified.
Yeah. And somehow, like, Chainsaw Man, like, in between that time, like, Chainsaw Man, like, fights a whole bunch of other devils. And by the time she finishes dancing, he's back. I just, like, soaked in blood of these other devils. He's just, like, sitting there, just, like sitting there, like, he was there the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
At that point, I thought that's another point that I want to bring up, like, some funny, but at the same time, like, I was like confused about why if this was like a flashback or if this was a flash forward in time. Like, it didn't make sense to me in my mind, like how he suddenly got back there. Because it felt like two separate things.
I think that they were pretty explicit.
It's a gag. You don't have to worry about.
What's that?
I mean, it's a gag. I feel like that's part of the joke. Is like, wow, he's really fast.
Oh, I think Isaac is.
Well,
Isaac, you still there?
I'm still here. You guys hear me? I'm still here. Are you guys good? Oh, is the connection good? Is connection good?
You're breaking up a little.
Well, you're breaking up for me. Rah!
Yeah, I could sort of hear you breaking up a little bit here and there, but
wait, are we
all right. Well,
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Bueller.
a little bit better. Yeah,
I think we had a little bit of a lag spike, or
probably
whatever.
like a hiccup.
Yeah, but wait. So,
okay.
So go on.
So Scott, sorry. Yeah, what were you saying?
Like, wow, he's really fast. Or she's either that or she's back up because she's just been like terrified and playing DDR for like 2 hours as though nothing has happened. He's just covered in gore.
Yeah. But then, like, I forget the timeline of all these events, because there were, okay, we start off with Chainsaw Man. He's already fought off some of these devils, and then all of a sudden he wants to get hamburgers at this hamburger restaurant, right? Kobeni's there.
Well, remember,
a few people.
You gotta remember, the distinction is that, like, Kobeni said, "I need help." There's like a little panel where she says, "Help me," and then we go back in time a little bit, and then we see Kobeni is working at the Family Burger, and then we see her get slapped, and then she sees "Help me," and then Chainsaw Man comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, what else is confusing?
Trying to figure out the exact time.
It's not rocket science.
Okay, so before she asked for help, Chainsaw Man was in the middle of a fight with all the other devils. So like the sword devil guy, the Rez, and then the following things after that.
No. What happens is he's fighting Makima. Makima explains whoever says help gets attacked by Chainsaw Man indiscriminately because he's the hero of hell. He comes to help you, but he'll also probably kill you. And then he hears the help. He goes to help Kobeni. Then whatchamacallit, Makima says he's noticed us. That's when the Simp Squad appears. They do their transformation. They have an incredible fight, and then he goes back to Kobeni.
Okay. Oh man, so confused.
It is. God damn it! This is like the minorest thing to get hung up over.
Just like trying to figure out the timetables of like he fought a bunch of guys, then like took a rest period to help Kobeni, and then went back to fighting these guys while she was doing DDDR.
You could at least be confused and hung up on something important, like Kobeni's fucking car. That I'd accept. But no, you're hung up on like the logistics of a fucking gag chapter.
Well, okay, it wasn't just the gag part of it. It's like and by the way, I think we figured out what happened to her car. She's doing this job to pay for her car bills. That's why. The hamburger job.
So go on.
So let's see. They go on this date and okay, gotcha. Okay. Man,
God fucking damn it, Greg.
it's just like
I swear
the acting. Where's Makima at this point when Chainsaw Man all of a sudden wants a burger, and she just kind of lets him go get this burger?
She's off being regenerating because he chopped her up with his fucking chainsaws.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
This is not rocket science. Holy fuck! Next time Hunter x Hunter comes back from its return, like maybe we need the blood of Chainsaw Man 2 before that happens.
I actually think this is harder to follow than Hunter x Hunter.
No, it is not.
Fuck you.
Well, either that or like I'm extremely sleep deprived because I don't know. Okay, she's a fan of his,
Okay,
and then she gets sliced.
It has to be the second.
Okay, I see it now.
I swear to
Okay,
God, Isaac, do you have like a whiteboard or something?
I shouldn't require it.
I know you shouldn't, but do you have one?
I don't, sadly.
How about a cork board, and we could get some red string.
like that meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. Chainsaw Man's here, but then he goes here, and then it teleports. Oh, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, yeah, I sort of see now, like, yeah, Chainsaw Man cut her, she needed time to regenerate, and then he went to get a burger, and Makima showed up again, and then
she brings the Simp Squad. They have a fight. They have an epic fight. He goes to space. He comes back from space. He he knocks all of them out, and then he comes back in time to, while she's still playing DDR. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. All right. Sorry. The series of events, like the continuity of everything was, I guess, it just confused me for some reason.
I guess you're sleep deprived because it really was not that hard.
Well, sometimes there's like, in like a regular manga, sometimes they would have like some dialogue to reinforce what's happening in the series. Like, oh, okay, I'm going.
Chainsaw goes vroom. Kobeni makes us go hee hee hee. Like that was like the prevailing logic.
What the fuck was that?
It was my attempt. It was my attempt to try and do like a comedy laugh. It wasn't very good, but
no, never do that again.
Well, okay. I was in the middle of a thought here. Damn.
Well, you know, I'm going to get you on another interesting train of thoughts, because this is what I want to this is like a really interesting to our discussion. So right now there's a series called Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of like the sister series of Chainsaw Man, in that it started running around the same time. It's a few chapters ahead. It's like 130 chapters right now, and it just got a big anime. It's becoming really popular. And the interesting thing is that it's being done by the studio that's going to do the Chainsaw Man anime, Studio Mappa. So, Goro Gregoro, what do you think of what you've seen of Jujutsu Kaisen? The art is very similar, and it's a very beloved series as of right now.
You say the art is very similar? It's made by the brother of the guy, right?
No. They have no relation.
Oh, they're not related? I thought they were for some reason.
No. There's like another guy who used to be his assistant on Fire Punch, and he does another series that's on not on Shonen Jump, but on the app called Hell's Paradise. But, that's a whole other thing. But Jujutsu Kaisen kind of has like a grungy art style that's similar to Chainsaw Man's.
Yeah, I think in terms of drawing ability, probably Jujutsu Kaisen is drawn better.
Fuck you! Zavel, will you humor me for a second and like go into like Google image search, just type in Jujutsu Kaisen manga and just like.
Well, here's the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen, he's able to distinguish the characters a lot better than.
It's not hard.
Than. The mangaka for Chainsaw Man. I forget his name.
Why the fuck do I have like no real issues like telling these people apart? But you're a fucking artist and you can't manage this.
No, I can tell them apart to some extent, but like it's for some reason he does like this repetitive like design. He does like repetitive like generic designs for his characters sometimes.
They're fucking office workers. They're all dressed the same.
Yeah, but like look at Jujutsu Kaisen's characters. You can sort of
but they're like
able to tell.
But they're more like generic, like fucking. I'm anime. Like I'm gonna be shitting on Jujutsu Kaisen a lot. And just for the record, I don't think it's a bad series. I think it's a perfectly fine series. It's entertaining. I'm following it along. I think it's very nice, but I think it's a lot more basic bitch than the mad genius we've gotten in fucking Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, okay.
And the art's not bad. It's got that grungy kind of like, but, I think Fujimoto's like a really good storyteller in how he lays his fucking shit out and how he controls his pacing. And Jujutsu Kaisen's like fun and like, oh, this is a magical battle. I'm going to shoot a curse at you. Oh, this is cool. But, it's like a fucking generic pastiche of like all these other shonen elements that I've fucking seen before. And sure, it's like a little bit edgier, but it doesn't have that true soul-shattering darkness that Chainsaw Man has at its best moments.
Yeah, I'm looking at the character designs. I mean, they're not terrible.
For which one?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah,
like okay. It's just one aspect that's Jujutsu Kaisen's artist is stronger than Chainsaw Man, because the way to distinguish different characters better and easier is through like strong shapes and silhouettes.
yeah,
and I think
they look bland.
they look
Like,
bland, but they're very easily distinguishable from each other.
Yeah, but I don't like none of these characters are interesting for me. Like if you look at Denji and you can clearly tell who is who. It's like I don't.
Okay, I want you to look up Rez and look up Makima. Look up Rez and sorry. Rez and Makima.
So what is the sort of issue between like Rez and Makima? Like, Rez has got like like, you know, mostly they're kind of like subdued characters, and you could say that like, oh, Rez is kind of plain, but at the same time, you've got the absolutely genius, you know, xenomorph bomb girl design, which I think is still like a 10 out of 10 character design.
Yeah, I mean, they just have, I guess, more realistic haircuts. I don't.
I mean, I sort of
This
understand.
is not an issue for me.
I mean, I can sort of understand what you mean by, like, in Fire Punch, they had a lot of fucking characters that looked the same. But, like, I still feel like, you know, that's not as much of an issue in Chainsaw Man, that it's, like, detracted from the series, like, when Oda has, like, 5,000 sexy princess, you know, characters.
Yeah, this is not nearly as bad as One Piece, where every woman looks exactly the same.
Okay, that is a
God
flaw that
help you.
That is a significant flaw with some of Oda's like for just body type alone. But I think actually there's a lot of female designs that have very unique distinguishing features for his characters. Not there's obviously quite a few that may not fit into that category, like remember Princess Vivi and Rebecca, without her gladiator outfit. That was like,
Oda has some better examples, but they're like a lot more like egregious than like Fujimoto. But like, here's my big central thing: you've seen a bunch of episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen. Have you seen any fucking character that is as good as the Bomb Girl, or the Darkness Devil, or the Gun Devil, or even Chainsaw Man in a super form? I think those are all like great.
You're talking about when they're
around
in
with
mutated forms, right?
Arms.
You're talking about when they're in their mutated form. I'm talking about when they're just like, you know, regular drawn people.
Yeah,
like, I think
they're plain.
Yeah, when they're regular drawn people in Chainsaw Man, that's probably his biggest weakness. Like, you remember like the three twin brothers? Can you? If they were all dressed up in suits, could you distinguish the three twin brothers from all the other members of the devil hunting organization?
Fucking twins. They're supposed to look like each other.
Yeah, but could you distinguish those characters from the other devil hunters that they fought and killed? Let's say everyone was dressed up in a suit and tie. Every single character was dressed up in a suit and tie. Could you distinguish every single character as devil hunters? Enemies.
Yes,
and everything else.
More suits, like half the fucking time.
I mean, even if you paid close attention in '94, there's like a scene where like Fujimoto literally telegraphs that Denji's hiding amongst all the corpses of all the devil hunter guys, and you see the back of his head.
Okay,
like,
well, Denji,
Power, and Makima wear suits all the damn time. They're not hard to distinguish.
Yeah, usually the way he distinguishes the characters, he'll have like an exaggerated scar, like an eye patch. He doesn't necessarily play around with like silhouette as much as let's just the guy with Jujutsu Kaisen. Like,
again, they're
exaggerated shapes.
They're fucking civil service workers. They're like, it's Japan. They're civil service workers. You wear a suit and a tie, or you wear a long sleeve shirt and a tie. Everyone dresses the goddamn same. They're literally working for the Japanese municipal government. This is not fucking hard. They're like that. I feel like that's a feature, not a bug.
Well, that is like another sort of like thing that really helped the series was the banality of devil hunting. It's not cool. You're not going to get to like fucking go to like a cool school where cool Kakashi, takes you down to watch movies. You go to work this bureaucratic hellhole, which is miserable.
Yeah, except for the extreme violence, it just looked like another day at the office. It looks like my fucking office.
Okay. Well, I don't know how else I can convince you guys, but if you looked up like the three twin brothers, like there's some characters that their design is like a little bit plain. You feel like they could just like blend in with the rest of the cast, because I think there's like 4, maybe 5 very distinguishable. Okay, sorry, not 4 or 5. Maybe like 10 distinguishable characters in Chainsaw Man. There's Denji, Power, Aki, Makima, guy with the scar on his cheek, Quanji, the old guy. Who else? Beam. Kobeni a little bit, I guess. And then there's the play guy. Oh yeah, there's also Angel guy. You know, there were quite a few distinguishing characters, but every other character felt like it just blended into the background. Like, oh, there's Rez too.
Well, you just
like maybe 12, maybe like 15. I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking of some, but there's every other character like sort of like blends into the background of like, you know, this is kind of like a banal kind of like design for a character, and like I'm gonna really easily forget them. They're just kind of like civilians at this point, like because we're really only focused on like those core characters that have like very distinguished designs for them.
I mean, they are kind of civilians. They're just government workers. They're bureaucrats. I feel like that is part of the point.
Yeah, well, they become cannon fodder at a certain point.
Well, here's my question though: if Jujutsu Kaisen is like so superior in its design standpoint, who do you think is the most standout character design out of all the characters you've seen so far? Who has the strongest silhouettes?
I don't know. Maybe the teacher guy. He reminds me of like a cool, like an even cooler Kakashi. It's like the stupid blindfold thing.
I hate that blindfold
kind of like
so
a
much.
mysterious aura about him. But yeah,
what makes his design? Is it the hair? Because he's just got this like kind of like black leather pantsuit.
Yeah, I guess it's like a combination of the hair and the blindfold. You know,
that's what sort of sits you out. But you can't see the blindfold in a silhouette. But I guess you can see the hair.
Yeah, well, the blindfold, it's a very distinguished shape. In some sense, you could see it as like part of the shape design for the character. Like, it's like, you know, horizontal band, like just on their eyes. Like you can't really miss it. Like this is a very distinguishable character from a good distance. Like from most angles, you couldn't mistake this character for another one.
And what was your rating for the final arc? Zavel, you gave it an 8, and Goro, I don't think we ever got a rating for you. Yeah?
Oh, for the final arc, there's some really good moments. There's like a lot of power struggle with Makima and Denji. Some really good panels where Makima has literally ripped out the Chainsaw Man heart, ripped out Pochita out of his heart. That was like a really cool panel, and I liked. Some fun like action scenes and like metaphorically, like when he had his intestines around his neck as like a form of a dog leash in a way. Like you're my dog now.
Well, don't forget it was also like a badass hero scarf.
Was it like supposed to be like that too?
Yeah, it was kind of like almost like a Greninja homage. I mean, you could say it's a dog leash. To me, I thought it was like, you know, a horrorcore hero outfit.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I felt like Makima like had like more control over Chainsaw Man. Like she she was able to unleash the Chainsaw Man that she wanted for a very short period of time. But there was definitely some confusing things, and after talking with you guys, I'm a little bit more cleared up about it. Yeah, I'd say this was like a very, it's a very 8.5 kind of fight for me.
I would give the final arc a 9. I was very happy with it. My only complaint is that, like, you know, I wanted the series to be longer, and I wanted a backstory about, like, what happened to Pochita, but I guess we'll have to wait until Chainsaw Man 2 to see if Fujimoto's mad crazy mind wants to give it to us. Because, you know, I still want to, like, have a story about, like, Pochita, and, you know, I want to learn how exactly he transformed from the hero of hell into, you know, cute little dog guy. But, you know, the thing I love about Pochita, though, is that, like, we've seen him so seldomly that he hasn't been, like, shoved in your face like every other shonen mascot who you, like, come to hate over time. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah, breathe a little bit of break. So for example, like some shonen mascots you like come to hate just because they get overexposed. Like, you know, one of the shonen mascots I like kind of liked, but then despised by the end was like Bleach's Khan. You remember Khan, Greg?
Bleach's what? Khan?
Yeah.
Oh God, is that the fucking stuffed animal?
Yeah, the stuffed animal.
Oh, the lion stuffed animal. Oh God, yeah, he was super annoying. I think it's because he was talking, like he talked like a overconfident asshole stuffed animal.
Yeah, he just kind of became like terrible. While Pochita, you get very little of him, and when you do get him, it's always like kind of wholesome and sweet. And I absolutely love the fact that, like, you know, I did not expect it to like end on such a heartwarming note of you know, lots and lots of hugs. That's how you're gonna make her a better person and the world a better place. So I think it was definitely a 9. So here's the sort of final thing before we eventually lead to our wrap-up discussion. What would you give Chainsaw Man in its entirety as a series? What would you rate it?
Well, there's still going to be part 2, right?
Yeah, but there is going to be a part 2. But just from this chunk of Chainsaw Man is completed, because we have no idea what he's going to do in part 2. For all we know, like, it may not even star Denji. It may have a whole new cast. There might be a time jump. This is Fujimoto. He's not going to do what we expect him to do.
You know, I was a little bit happy that they went into, like, there was like a little bit more sense of a closure than I thought there would be with this series, with the guy with the scar on his face. There was like a little bit of an explanation, like, okay, what happened that fight? Because there's a lot of confusing things that happened in that fight.
One also completely that we have not talked about. I fucking love the final scene where Power gets to come back for one more final time and gets the ultimate Power moment where she has complete control. She's like, ah, Power wins, Power wins. I'm the number one. Makima's trash. And then there's that beautifully bittersweet moment where she like gives Denji a final goodbye and says, you know, come find me, which is like this bittersweet quasi-romantic moment where they're like just in the trash can, just like how Denji united with Pochita.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like his relationship with Power. There is like, it's very it's a very powerful like bond that they have. Sorry for the pun, but like the way he wrote this for Denji and Power, like you really feel for that connection. Like every time someone is like taking away that connection from them, you immediately like despise. Like we fucking despise Makima for killing Power and trying to kill Power. Like you do not fuck with that. Come on.
No.
Like he was. If anything, this this guy, Fujimoto, is this his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was very successful in the way he wrote Denji and Power and Aki as like a trio.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Makima basically said it. It's like, I made a family for you, so just so she could break it up.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, I feel like in a lesser anime you could do that, and they would just like make them sickly sweet, but you wouldn't really give a shit. Like, I don't know, what was that show that
exactly.
like Future Diary, you know, and like a classical edgelord anime, you just have like, you know, a generic character. It's like, oh, I love you, let's go do these funny things, and then they would, you know, they get decapitated.
Yeah, it's like Ricky O, the story of Ricky.
Yeah. They get their head blown, like Ricky O, the story of Ricky.
What's that?
Oh, come on, I've shown you Ricky O, the story of Ricky, the fucking the kung fu movie, the famous kung fu movie with exploding head.
Oh, that! Oh my god, that was.
But like, there's a lot of like shitty, edgy, transgressive, or wannabe Hot Topic animes that'll be like, whoa, this guy just got killed, and he's her sister. Like, I don't know. Have either of you ever heard of a Kame ga Kill?
I've heard of it, but I've never read it or watched it.
It's a shitty anime and a shitty manga, but like, it's a good example of like a you know, faux transgressive anime where it's like, we're our best friends. Oh, we're gonna go to the big city together. Oh, this is so fucked up. My best friend girl is being tortured by the evil thing, and you know, there's no real pathos for you to like feel attached to that character, versus like Denji and Aki, where Fujimoto managed to build it up briefly, where like, you know, that scene where whatchamacallit, where they Power and Denji make Aki some food, and then he vomits, and it's like, now we all vomited.
Yeah,
it's just like shitty like sibling mechanics. It's just like shitty dumb stuff that siblings do to each other.
You know, in some sense, like scenes like that remind me a lot of One Piece, but he does it so much, like even better than One Piece, and lots of instances. Like One Piece, you know, you have like this endearment for like the, you know, those wholesome moments like Luffy has with his crew, or like the funny moments they have with each other. And like Fujimoto, he does that, but like even better, like in a lot of instances, like with those three characters in particular, I feel.
Yeah, he's really, really strong at it, and I think that's like one of his strengths. And you know, that's what, like, because, well, I think I was trying to get like, you know, what is your rating for the whole series to get a number on all 97 chapters in totality and all the pieces. What are the, you know, because I have my list of like strengths and weaknesses. Well, let me throw them out there to give you an idea, and maybe it'll inspire your thoughts. I'd give it a 9, either a 9 or 9.5. I think it's really...
That's exactly what I was going for.
Oh, really? Because, like, I think it's very close to being a fucking masterpiece. I just feel like it just needed a little bit more, just a few more, like, slice of life, just because they were so fucking good, where it's not like, you know, in normal manga it feels like, you know, or shonen manga, slice of life just feels like, you know, why are we waiting to get to I want to get to the fireworks factory, I want to get to the next big bad guy they gotta fight, or the cool story thread. Like, even in One Piece, like, let's say they beat Kaido next chapter, and they have some true shenanigans, we'd be like, okay, let's get to Raftel, let's get to the polyglyph, let's start getting our ducks in a row. We've got like 5 bajillion story threads. We're more interested. Fuck the crew shenanigans. We're here. I would have liked. So right. You know, yeah, it's like the expectation.
Yeah. Great. Nami's chasing Usopp around while Luffy eats everything. I don't give a fuck. Can we please go back to the fucking like the aftermath of the fucking reverie, please.
That's what we're really looking forward to.
Yeah, great. Sanji is like, has like a weird nose bleed boner for Robin. That's great. Can we talk about the Revolutionary Army again, please? What's Blackbeard doing? Anybody?
Yeah, that's like Oda's really big strength is world building. I mean, he's not bad at character stuff, but at the same time, I think like his bigger strength is world building. But you know, with Fujimoto, his biggest strength is character writing. So more character writing would have been nice. And you know, there are a few elements I would have loved to have like gone more into like the Cold War between all the countries as they're like fighting over devils. Because there are definitely a lot of cool ideas that, you know, I would have loved to be explored more. But at the same time, I think, like, the payoffs we got for, like, the great moments that we did have were strong enough that, you know, I can forgive not learning about the Cold War or seeing the Four Horsemen or more primal fear devils or the story of, like, how Puchita became Chainsaw. I can get, you know, those are features that it doesn't feel like a huge bug to not get those things. You know, I'm not, like, angry that, like, oh, how could you forget that? Oh, I'm so pissed off. You know, like you would be in Hunter x Hunter for not seeing the Chrollo versus Sokka fight. So,
I want to see that animated so bad.
You're willing to overlook that for this anime in particular?
Yeah. Like the sort of like looser, like, you know, the world building where it's like kind of goes from one thing to the next. But I think the character stuff is so strong that like I can overlook it, you know, and the fact that it was like kind of shorter. I think it was like really close to a masterpiece. Just a little hair shy, so you know I'd still give it a 90 or a 90.5.
I'm giving it a 9 or 9.5.
Yeah. I would give it.
I would be willing to bump that up to a 10 depending on what the sequel does.
So something I would have looked at, I would have wanted in this series more is just a little bit more exposition, like something that feels like it has like a payoff at the end of it, like in terms of like foreshadowing of one thing to another, and like having like, you know, a somewhat consistent sense of continuity. Like doesn't have to be too consistent, because I understand the gag stuff is very strong. It is a very strong part of his writing. I guess it would have been nice just to feel like Makima, the Makima stuff, like had like some more cohesive sense of like of a plan from the very beginning. It doesn't feel like it kind of feels like they sort of substituted her, like you could substitute her goal with like almost anything for Chainsaw
Jesus
Man.
Christ.
Like you could sort of like
so like what's your score?
Like it would have been nice if there was like a slow build up to it and like you saw like her genius like later on.
Jesus Christ, Greg.
I'd say it's 8 just because everything else is so strong.
Fuck you. I can sort of understand your complaints, but I think it's still like an 8.5. Like this feels like the thing that would be like totally on your wavelength. Like I almost feel like you're angry at Chainsaw Man because it feels like the thing that you should have made, but you know we weren't born as the genius of Tatsuki Fujimoto.
Instead, we got Nickelback.
I guess maybe it's because I wanted to see him overcome some of his weaknesses with Fire Punch, and I guess it might make me a little bit biased.
So much of the dumb bullshit he did with Fire Punch.
Yeah, I think like this is like an astronomical step above Fire Punch.
Well, yeah, it is.
Greg. Yes, it is.
It is way better than Fire Punch. Like the characters are more memorable and likable.
You know, the tone and consistency, and it's generally better plotted. Sure, it has big turns, but they're always kind of feel like natural extensions. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm going to make a new religion. Oh, I'm going to go to space. Oh, the little kid's back. Oh, the little kid doesn't matter. Oh, Dojima's back.
Yeah. And like having that villain where she just loves fucking Star Wars or something. Like that's the only memorable thing I liked about her. And then she just kind of like dies like really quickly and is like forgettable after that.
God.
And then the rest of the story after that was just like, it was really like weird and esoteric after that. Just didn't really make much sense to me.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Like I could like
I was like really worried Chainsaw Man was going to end up like that. Thankfully, I almost want to. I almost think it's like the edit. It's because the editor was like, okay, we can't do that for this manga. This has to be a shonen manga. It's gotta feel like you're fighting a final boss here. Like, none of this like esoteric like bullshit at the end. Like, you can't go that too deep into that. Like you did last time.
Well, what's interesting is like, I mean, we'll never know until we see an interview. I've heard someone say that like his editor says he lets him do whatever he wants, but like there's some stuff like like in the beginning of the series, it's like we got to get all the devil. First it's almost like Jujutsu Kaisen has this thing where basically it's like, oh, I've got the evil king of curses inside me, and I got to eat all the fingers so they can destroy him. While in Chainsaw Man, it had we got to find the gun devil bullets, which are powering up devils, so we can eventually go find him. But then Fujimoto was cleverly able to say, guys, you don't give a shit about that. I don't give a shit about that. So I'm just going to do what I want. And you know what? To his credit, what he came up, I would have been fine with like a more basic Monster of the Week setup, but we got the Katana Man arc, we got the Bomb Girl arc, we got the International Assassins arc, we got so many great, interesting characters and so many great memorable moments that it fundamentally is better than like the more basic bitch. Let's go find all the pieces to find the Gun Devil, and even the Gun Devil managed to subvert expectations in a way that like few examples of this actually do.
Yeah, he was fucking amazing. I love the shit out of that.
Well, yeah, like there's a pretty cool few sequences of that, like making Aki into the Gun Devil. Like that was a great twist to that. Like it's just like a really twisted twist in a very twisted way that Makima did that to Denji, just crushing his soul.
I mean, that was the goal.
It was very effective. He built up that sense of dread. Well, here's my question though: you give it an 8, what would you give Jujutsu Kaisen based on the episode you've seen? Like comparing it to like its early stuff to Chainsaws.
2.
Well, I don't know. It seems like average so far. I give it like probably 7 right now. Like I'm just saying, like in terms of like the art style, like I'd say it's stronger, but not in terms of like substance. Because I think Chainsaw Man is a little bit more interesting at the moment than Jujutsu Kaisen. Like Jujutsu Kaisen is like flashy, it has potential, but I'd say it's 7 right now. Like it hasn't really wowed me yet. It made a unique stance.
All right, and before we wrap this up, whatchamacallit, while we wrap this up, what are your expectations for the anime? We know it's going to Studio Mappa. Would you like to see it all in one go on a 24 or 25 episode season? Would you like to see it get 2 seasons that are split up into 2 parts? Like how do you see these 97 chapters being adapted?
I think it makes sense to split it up into like maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like you could maybe end season 1 after the Rez arc.
What's it?
And then
it's usually like what? 2 chapters of a manga per episode is usually the rule.
It varies. Like you've seen the spectrum of it. When it's done great in Hunter x Hunter versus the One Piece anime where they try and stretch out 1 chapter to an episode. Or
yeah, I know, that's what I mean. I could see it being about 50 episodes. I mean, I'd like the pacing to be around Hunter x Hunter's pacing.
Yeah,
and I hope like with the anime adaptation, like it makes up.
I can't even remember.
Like I'm hoping with the anime adaptation, like it makes up for a little bit more exposition, and like is able to explain things better. Wow, thank you, babe. Oh wow, this looks so delicious. Check out this food.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What is that? It looks like fried rice and bok choy.
I forget which vegetable it is. Not bok choy.
Yao choy.
Oh, it's yao choy.
Ah.
Yao? No, it's yao choy.
Yao choy.
Oh.
There's shrimp, fried rice, and pork.
Ooh.
Really good. Really good.
That looks very, very, very tasteful. Very tasty. But yeah, I feel like a first season ending on Res would be really good because, like, my only concern is that, like, I feel like the action scenes of, like, the action sequences in Chainsaw Man is, like, a chapter of action is, like, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So that's why I feel like it could go faster. But
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel
Yeah,
like...
I think that the anime adaptation might even be better than the manga.
Oh god, that would be fucking hysterical. Imagine like, so okay, obviously the action sequences are going to go way faster, and your slice of life stuff is going to go a little bit slower. So just imagine it being like fucking Azumanga Daioh with Helsing thrown in every once in a while.
I hope they have some good directors who can handle the tone and pacing. But yeah, I'm expecting good things. The studio that's behind it has like been on a roll recently, and they've just been, and that image I assume is that it's like anime production art. That I thought that looked amazing, and the you guys saw that in the special announcement, right?
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't think I saw the special announcement.
It was in the goddamn manga chapter I gave you. It was like the color page of like Chainsaw Man.
Oh, it was the very first page?
Yes, it was right after the color spread.
In Japanese.
Well, but still, you saw Studio Mappa, Chainsaw Man production art.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm really excited because Mappa is just so good.
Yeah,
I'm eating Makima right now.
But I think once it hits, it's going to hit like a hurricane, and then the internet's just going to be filled with power memes and Future is Best and Halloween. And we were at the forefront. We could have some sort of sense of superiority that we were there the first before it becomes oversaturated and, as the kids would say, dank.
That's right, folks. We're fucking anime hipsters.
It's the one little thing of life that, we discover these things occasionally before they hit the mainstream, and then just like, oh god, I hope it gets a really good opening.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to be amazing as an anime. I'd be really excited for it.
Yeah, they better dump just a whole fucking
by the way
of money on this.
Thank you, Replica Rabbit, for that joke of Makima eating Makima. I like that. Yeah, I'd be really excited to watch the anime version. I'll show it to my partner once it airs. She's been on a roll with One Piece lately.
What arc you on? I'm still furious though. She skipped the
Water
Usopp.
7?
Yeah, Water 7 and the Usopp fight.
Yeah, look, she hasn't been skipping lately, so I'll give her that. But it's like it does bother me a lot. But for now, things are okay. They're okay for now.
Did she ever go back?
Down.
Was she able to see like the Ace and Blackbeard fight to given the fact that basically influences is the catalyst for the entire climax?
Yeah, I made sure she watched that part. She didn't meet the very first introduction to Blackbeard, but she saw Ace versus Blackbeard.
At least she saw that, even though I think that's still a crime because I love his introduction with dreams will never die.
Meanwhile, on my side of things, the girls are almost finished with Hunter x Hunter.
Nice. You finished One Piece or got caught up with One Piece?
I think we're a few episodes back. We stopped when One Piece went on hiatus because of the quarantine.
Oh yeah.
We haven't caught up with that. We watched Hunter x Hunter, and we started watching Cowboy Bebop because Daz hasn't seen Cowboy Bebop.
Really? Oh, that's just like a nice.
Yeah.
That's like a nice series.
I'm
to
surprised
watch.
she hasn't seen like bits and pieces of Cowboy Bebop because like
Nope.
no, not even on like a late at night or
Nope.
Adult Swim. It's like so permissible and like
Nope. But yeah, they both fucking hate Pariston. And seeing him in animated form, I fucking love this shit.
But some things about the manga,
we're like halfway to like throwing something at the fucking TV every time he saw it.
There's some things about the manga version of Pariston that the anime doesn't quite is not able to capture. I feel like the manga version Pariston is like it's just like there's a certain like glow, just like
they have
menacing
sparkles.
Like,
I don't
anime sparkles. What the fuck do you want? They literally gave the man anime sparkles.
I know, but still, the way they drew him in the manga, I feel like it's just something missing. I can't quite put my finger on it.
A soul? He doesn't have a soul. That's pretty much
yeah.
it.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he doesn't.
Did you ever tell them?
Nothing, feel a little bit more soulless.
Nothing like seeing somebody, like move around on screen and everything to be like, oh, he's completely out of his fucking mind.
Did you ever tell them that little bit of information that comes in the manga that won't get animated? I only feel loved when people hate me.
I thought that came after.
Yeah, it does. So I was just meant.
No, I'm gonna use like tidbits of stuff like, hey, you want to see Cholo fight Hisoka? Yeah, that sounds cool.
You mean Crollo? Right?
Yeah. Crollo fight Hisoka. You want to see you want to see what happens on the Dark Continent?
You're just gonna like tease them with like tidbits of all the stuff that like eventually hopefully will get animated someday in the future.
One fucking day. Yeah.
The pain of like
I just fucking love that moment where it's like, I won. Okay, cool. Here you go. This is yours now. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this. I actually wanted. I just wanted to fuck with you.
It almost makes you
so angry.
Were they fury?
Oh god, they were like Cheetah levels of angry.
Oh wait, they didn't like Cheetah?
No, they like Cheetle.
Oh,
Cheetle, like
Cheetle. All right.
Angry.
And then he has this like one sincere moment with Cheetle where he's like, were you just like messing around the whole fucking time? Is this just a game to you? And he's like, yes, it is. And you better make sure it keeps interesting so I don't want to play another game with you.
Seriously though, you actually might want to reform the Hunter commandments. I mean, I don't give a fuck, but yeah, that's actually probably a good idea. Anyway, if you get boring, I swear to God, I will ruin you.
Yeah. Pariston was just like a wonderful like not an anti-hero. It was like but just a wonderful troll.
Yeah,
character.
He was such a wonderful departure from like the knockdown, drag out, ass kicking that was the Chimera Ants arc, and then you just like pull a 180, and no one ever punches Pariston. Everyone just fucking hates the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
But they've all just recognized like he's not actually doing anything we can kill him for.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem.
In a way, like Pariston uses like very similar strategy to like Donald Trump almost to like get popularity because this saying like any publicity is good publicity. like people hate Pariston so much, he's able to use that hatred as like a way to gain more popularity.
Yeah, but the problem is only the basically the policy wonks, only the people that actually know what's going on hate Pariston.
True.
Everyone else is just like whatever, you know. He seems like a nice enough guy.
Right.
It is funny you compare him to Trump because, like, the thing about beauty about Pariston is that he just completely fucks things up because he loves just sowing chaos, but he can control it. Where Donald Trump is like, I'm not getting my way. I'm going to complain and bitch about it and throw someone under the bus, and then he just kind of blunders into the next crisis.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. If Pariston had won the 2016 election, like, after Hillary Clinton had like done her concession speech, he just would have gotten up on stage and been like, "Yeah, I mean, this job sounds like bullshit. I don't fuck that. She can do it.
I resign.
I'm withdrawing from the election. I don't give a fuck. Does that feel good? You lost, but you still get to do whatever it is. That feel good? Anyway, I'm going to Bermuda. Fuck it."
Yeah, that's why I only said partially reminded me of. But yeah, that would essentially be that would be what would happen.
Did you love the, just out of curiosity, what did you and the rest of your crew think of the scene with Komagi, where they have like the silent death scene with her and Meruem?
Oh God, there was crying.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's such a great scene.
It was,
yeah.
It hit as effectively as I was hoping.
Yeah, it did. It really fucking did.
If only, there was enough manga so we could get like just a continuation of the Dark Continent. I still really desperately want just Gin versus Pariston. Just like several chapters of just them. Honestly, my dream of Hunter x Hunter is like get a room, stick in Ging, Pariston. Yeah, I know.
I brought this up with you.
Okay, the thing is like neither one of them really give a fuck. So I feel like their like great climactic fight would be like an all-in like Hunter x Hunter, like triple star Hunter level intrigue with both of them just like sitting in a conference room, and it's basically like which one of them has to get coffee. Because neither one of them actually want to get up. But someone has to. But they don't want to.
And even a scene like that can still be written interestingly in the Hunter x Hunter perspective. Like,
yes.
He could write almost anything and make it interesting. It's just such an amazing ability that he has.
That is Togashi's talent of just like being able to take the benign and the shit you don't care about and making it as interesting as possible.
Oh God. Okay, yeah. Here's a question. Yeah. Who out of these four characters would go up to get coffee? Hisoka, Chrollo, Gin, or Pariston, or I want to add another one. What's this? Tesseric?
Oh, the terror sandwich, the
terror sandwich guy.
Yeah,
the prince guy. Those five. Who gets coffee?
Hisoka, but he fucks it up for everyone just to piss them off, so that he gets to fight them.
Probably, yeah.
He intentionally overbrews every cup of coffee and like fucks up everyone orders. So it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, you were lactose intolerant. Oh, that sucks. I put like half a cup of milk in yours.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I like that best. Actually, I think that makes sense.
Shit, you wanted black coffee? I got you blonde roast with sugar in it.
Either that, or maybe Pariston would do it too.
Yeah,
just to like politically please everybody.
But he would never want to like get up to like give the coffee though. That would be his whole like. He would like maybe.
Oh, yeah. That's true. He would order someone else to do it,
That would
or
be
ask someone politely.
he would just like. Pariston gridlock is what makes Pariston happy.
Yes.
Yeah, just basically trolling people is what makes
Pariston
happy.
wouldn't get up to get coffee. He would offer to do it and then spend the next 40 minutes debating what brand of coffee they should get.
Right.
And whether or not he needs to order like from Amazon to get the right brand, or
if they need to go to
filibuster.
Donuts, he would want Keurig coffee.
He would filibuster the shit out of that
could,
coffee getting.
We could probably just go to 7-Eleven, but I'm pretty sure at least we have at least one gourmet hunter here. So is that really going to cut it? And for the next 30 fucking minutes, the entire fucking meeting stalls while he just talks about coffee, and everyone gets increasingly pissed off because it's 7 in the morning and everyone just wanted coffee.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been learning so much politics lately. I'm so glad I got to use the word filibuster there.
All right, it's almost 9:30. I think we had a very healthy. Any final thoughts on Chainsaw Man before I end the stream?
I can't wait for part 2. That should be interesting.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting question. If you could have either the anime or part 2, what would you have right now? I'm the god of time and space. I can give you anything.
Part 2. I think I would like part 2 more.
Good choice. More Chainsaw Man from the source.
I feel like I'd want the anime right now, just to give him a little time to plan, and so that I could start shoving it down Daz and Claire's throat.
You can share the joys of Chainsaw Man in a form that's shareable to multiple people.
Yeah. Anime seems to be the best way to get women on board.
You can watch it, you can share it, you can have the communal viewing experience. Fun for everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
The most easy way I can find.
Right. Michael Tan says part 2, please. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the diddly-doop things. Watch his stream. Zavil, where they check out your the horror stories?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm still waiting on the No Sleep podcast as to whether or not my latest submission is going in. But
check out the previous 2.
Yeah, the previous 2 the previous 2 stories I sold are on the No Sleep podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I want to check them out. I think I saw one of them.
Go listen to them. And also maybe listen to the Jack podcast that has Goro Gregoro's artwork, because I forced him to do it.
Yeah. You didn't force me, but you sort of like brought that connection. You connected that bridge between me and Asterios.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was fun working with him. I draw, by the way. I have a Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Goro Gregoro. Do illustrations, commissions, and stuff. That's basically what I've been doing. And I did a commission for Asterios, and he has this really cool podcast called Jacked, and I highly recommend you guys actually listen to it, because it's really fun, nerdy RPG stuff.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Time to end the stream, and see you the next time I drag these guys to talk about anime and other bullshit.